You just lost a thought mid-sentence. It was there, and now it's gone. No ending. No memory of where it was going. Just cut off. That's not distraction. That's your brain failing to finish what it starts. And it's happening more often now. You felt it? You just didn't stop to notice. But once this becomes normal, you don't get those thoughts back. You open your phone. 3 seconds in, you switch apps. You didn't decide to do that. Your prefrontal cortex did nothing. It just let it happen. That's not normal. That used to require conscious effort. Now it's completely automatic. Scientists call this neural hijacking. Your dopamine pathways got rerouted, not by accident, by design. Every swipe trained your brain to crave the next thing before finishing the current one. And here's what's wild. You've been rewarding the craving every time you switched without thinking, every time you checked for no reason. You were reinforcing a circuit that now runs your attention. Stanford researchers tracked this in 2023. Average focused attention span, 47 seconds, down from 2.5 minutes in 2004. This isn't aging, this is damage. And here's the terrifying part. Your brain doesn't know it's damaged. It thinks this is normal now, this is just you now. But that isn't true. This is what was done to you. And there's something worse underneath that, something most people never discover. Because they stop looking here. You might want to stop here too. Most people do. The default mode network is firing. That's the brain's idle engine. It activates when you do nothing or used to. Now it fires mid-task, mid-conversation, even mid-sentence. Your brain keeps defaulting to default. And idle feels like focus. Brain rots first lie to you. You feel like you're thinking, but you're just looping. Unfinished thoughts cycling endlessly. No resolution, no depth, just surface-level mental static. Researchers at the NIH confirmed this in a 2022 cognition study. They called it attentional fragmentation. Your brain stops completing thought loops. It starts thousands, finishes almost none. And each incomplete loop leaves a residue behind, a background hum of unresolved tension. That's the fog you feel. That's why you reread one sentence 4 times and retain nothing. That's why a 10-minute task stretches into an hour. You're not slow. Your loops aren't closing. And here's where it gets darker. Your working memory is shrinking. Not metaphorically. Functionally shrinking. The hippocampus, or your memory engine, needs sustained focus to store memories. No sustained focus. No deep memory formation. Which means you forget things. Not because of age. Because your brain stopped practicing depth. Every scroll trained it shallow. Every skipped ending. Every abandoned article. Every 15-second clip you half-watched. You voted for a shorter brain. Every single day. And the brain listened. It adapted to what you demanded. Shallow input, shallow output, shallow. That's what it built. And shallow became your default mode. Your brain stopped reaching for depth. Because depth stopped feeling rewarding. Because depth requires effort, and effort requires energy. And your energy was already spent and on switches, on context jumps, on 100 unfinished loops. No energy left for depth. No depth means no real thinking. No real thinking means no real growth. And that should terrify you, because it means you aren't just losing time. You're losing the ability to become who you were meant to be. But here's what you are about to discover. That isn't permanent. The same mechanism that broke focus can rebuild it. But first, understand what broke it. Because most people diagnose this wrong, completely wrong. Here's the part nobody tells you. Brain rot isn't about screen time. That's the wrong target entirely. Harvard Medical School published findings in 2024, the actual culprit, context switching, rapid context switching. Every time your attention jumps, your prefrontal cortex burns glucose. Every single jump costs fuel, and the cost compounds hard. By the 10th shift in an hour, executive function drops 40%. 40%. You're operating at 60% capacity. feeling like something's wrong with you. Nothing is wrong with you. You're just depleted. Systematically depleted. And the cruel part, depletion feels like boredom. So you reach for stimulation, which triggers another switch, which drains you further, which makes you feel more empty, which makes you reach again. A loop inside a loop. You can't willpower your way out. That's not how loops work. Loops need a pattern interrupt. This realization is where the loop breaks. It's the moment you stop being a victim of the algorithm and start seeing the machinery behind it. And it will break your loop too. The interruption doesn't come from outside. It can't. No app can interrupt this loop. No notification blocker. No productivity timer. The interrupt must come from inside. A deliberate internal override. And that override has a name, a mechanism, a trainable mechanism. Here's the counterintuitive revelation. The solution isn't digital detox, not fully. Detox removes the trigger, but it doesn't rebuild the circuit. Your prefrontal cortex needs reps, like a muscle after long injury. It needs resistance, uncomfortable sustained resistance. Hold one thing past its protest. Let it resist. Stay anyway. That discomfort when you try reading for 10 solid minutes, that's your prefrontal cortex doing its first real push-up in months. Most people stop at the discomfort. They decide they can't focus. That's not inability. That's untrained capacity. A critical difference. You are learning this now so you don't have to find out the hard way later. Because you will almost quit at this point. You'll decide that your focus is just gone forever. But you have to stay. And the brain responded, because it always does. The brain never fully gives up. It waits. It waits for you to demand more. And the moment you do, it starts rebuilding. Neuroscientists call this top-down attentional regulation. You override the dopamine pull with deliberate, sustained engagement. You choose to stay, past the urge to leave. And the brain logs that choice. Every time you hold attention past the point of discomfort, you raise your focus ceiling. Johns Hopkins research confirmed this in 2023. 21 days of sustained daily focus measurably increases prefrontal activation. Not months, not years. 21 days. The brain adapts fast when you give it the right demand. The same neural plasticity that wired you toward distraction can wire you back toward depth. The brain you had before, it's still in there, waiting for the right signal, and you can send that signal, starting today. So here's what actually works. Start with 10 minutes, one task only, no switching, no checking. Brain pulls toward the phone. Don't fight it with brute force. Replace it with curiosity instead. Ask yourself, what happens if I stay? Curiosity activates dopamine too, but toward the task, inward. That's the redirect mechanism. That's how you break the loop. Do this once today, then twice tomorrow. Then build, deliberately and slowly. The resistance gets lighter each session. The ceiling lifts a little more. You start to feel the difference. Not after months, after days. You are not broken. You are undertrained. Undertrained can always be fixed. This is fixable. And you are going to be the one to fix it. That focused version of you, it still exists. Waiting to be unconditioned. Waiting to come back. It never actually left. The loop you're in right now, it ends when you decide. Not when you feel ready. When you decide, and you can decide right now. That's the only thing required. You didn't lose your mind. You loaned it out to every notification, to every algorithm, to everything that wanted your attention. More than you wanted it yourself? That ends now. Take it back deliberately. One held thought at a time, one session at a time, one 10-minute window at a time. That's exactly how you reclaim your mind. That's exactly how you come back. The focus you lost still exists. It's waiting to be reclaimed, not someday. Right now, the next 10 minutes. That's where it starts. That's where you take it back. Your brain is already finding its way back. Yours is still in this fight. Stay curious. The next discovery might be what rewires everything